Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider, another story. Today we have the lovely Yemi, all the way from Nigeria, but she's born here really. She speaks some of the language, she says, even though she's probably got a passport and now she doesn't speak all the language. But anyway, another story. Yemi is a fundraiser in one of the prominent universities in London, and she also loves the artistic side of things. Paintings, drawings, taking photos. So the conversation's going to flow as it does. We were talking about investing in Africa as well, which was obviously on the other side of the podcast, but still it may flow into there. So nice to have you here today, Yemi.
Hello, nice to be here.
Okay, so tell us, how did you get into the industry of fundraising and what motivates you?
So I studied law at university, and I think into my first year of uni, I just really started realising that I'm interested in like a specific area of laws, human rights. So I started thinking like what career I could have in human rights that, you know, I can really make a difference in the world and make a difference in society. And after I finished uni, my passion for like human rights grew, and I applied for a job, and it's the job that I currently do now. It's I'm sort of a fundraising assistant, so I assist with projects within the university. For example, we fundraise for like, you know, helping asylum seekers, student asylum seekers get a scholarship, things like that.
Is that all student asylum seekers? So as long as you're an asylum seeker and you're at student age, you get a scholarship?
So if so we fundraise for like a specific reason. So if a student has come over as an asylum seeker, obviously they might be in a less beneficial, like a less, how do I put it?
Beneficial.
Yeah, or good financial position to fund uni. So we sort of have to fundraise for that, and it's really like it motivates you because you know, this asylum like student will always remember that, you know, the impact the university had on their lives. And yeah, that's what I find really motivating, is seeing like people's report. Like a lot of the times we have to have reports from the students after, so we will ask them about how the scholarship has impacted their lives and what they've enjoyed about it. And a lot of the times they will be so grateful to the person who's helped to get them that scholarship. So yeah.
What kind of countries are we talking?
I've seen some Syrian asylum seekers. Yeah, Syrian, mostly like Middle East.
Okay, so basically where the war-torn countries, where wars are going on right now. That makes sense. Okay, I didn't know that. It's very interesting to know. Is there? So they have to be able to be at that standard academically, and then you help them, or is it just like you kind of just help them all the way through?
It's usually at that standard. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually at that standard.
What kind of courses are they doing?
Any kind of course. The university I work for is very specialised, so really it might be something like Arabic studies or African studies is a big one.
So wait.
law.
Oh, they're studying. Okay, they're studying. But how's that going to help them?
What do you mean?
If they're studying Arabic studies, how's that help them? Surely they'd want something a bit.
Anything, like they can study anything, law, anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Economics as well.
So in the fundraising part, how does that work out?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you've raised funds.
Yeah,
so what kind of companies?
Oh, it's big people, big money making, like philanthropists in the world that
Okay.
trusts, foundations
Okay.
who have this reserve for
Yeah, just to help.
basically.
It's a feel-good fund.
Yeah.
I'm so rich, so I'm going to create a feel-good fund that just help people. Help people that I agree
They have
with.
so much money they don't know what to do with it. So we beg for them to give them their money.
Do you ever get no's?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, and you have to go through your due diligence as well, which.
So depending where, I suppose you'd have to think, where are they
getting their money from?
Oh, is it? I
Yeah.
wasn't even thinking like that.
Yeah, we can't accept money just from any company. That's the whole due diligence process.
Really?
You have to kind of vet them, and the company that I work for, or the university that I work for, doesn't accept from I think it's is it fossil fuel? Like anything that is potentially destroying the environment. They don't want to accept money from.
I would. You know why? No, think of this. Mother Teresa took money from everybody.
Yeah.
And she just did a good purpose to it. So
I understand, but it's kind of dirty money at the same time.
to me,
Like you wouldn't just accept money from a mafia,
yeah, I would.
organisation.
I would. Why? Because what are they going to do? They're going to use it to buy arms and enforce their rule. Or I take it from them and build houses and fund the homeless, help the homeless and the starving.
Yeah, still, I feel like.
Do you see what I mean?
I get you, but I mean,
The taxman does, doesn't he? Think of honestly, think about the taxman. The taxman, if you don't pay tax, remember they put mafia of people in jail, not for murders, for not paying tax, even though it's illegal.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing something illegal, and then what do? At the end, they take all their money, and then what do? They ideally spend it on the NHS and the infrastructure. It's the same principle. Why would you be different?
It's true, but then it will look bad, extremely bad on the university. It's a very progressive university.
I don't think I think that's how some people look on it, but those people aren't practical. Do you see what I mean?
It's unfortunate, but it's just the way, like, the image of the university would look bad if they're taking money from organisations that are not ethically, right.
I hear what you're saying, and I've kind of heard that debate before, but some people would say that you just take the money and you use it for a good purpose.
Yeah.
All right, think of this: Pablo Escobar, El Chapo. Yeah, those are synonymous people in the cocaine business. Yeah, cocaine. Yeah.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of their money looking after their community they grew up in.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Investing in their community. Yeah. So when we had a guy in Jamaica, Dondas or something like that, his name. Okay. And when the CIA came for him, it took them 2 weeks to get him.
Right.
It's a gunfight because the community said, "You're not taking this man." He provides medicine for my children when they're sick. He pays for education.
Yeah.
He pays. He gives me money for food.
Yeah.
All these things. Why would I let you take him? The government's not doing anything.
Yeah.
No, if the government's not doing anything, my money's on this man. Because if I got a problem in the middle of the night, I go to one of his people, they help me.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I think I understand from that perspective, and I think it's really sad because even though I do agree that these are people that are helping the community, like the likes of Pablo Escobar, but at the same time, what damage have they also caused? What lives have they destroyed as well?
If we're going to look at that, we could say, well, look at what the government's done in causing damage for people.
Yeah.
they make up laws and they've done things. Even if we go far back as the typical slavery, that was a law.
Yeah.
Okay, it's abolished, but it was a law that made this country what it is today.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So in their argument, I hear many, white English people say, well, slavery wasn't all that bad because of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it basically put them where they are.
Yeah.
Well, they're not looking at all the pain it caused.
Yeah, the generational
but they're still,
trauma.
they're taking that money and they're saying, well, we put it to good use, that free labour, that this and that. So what's the difference with drug dealing? Think of it, not to mention, England was biggest heroin dealer to China.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to the point where Chinese, burnt all their things.
Yeah.
That's how they lost Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So it's like kettle pot. That's what I would say to that.
Yeah.
In that respect. But I understand where you're coming from. But I think if it's a case of, I should say, some people would say, if there's a starving child on the street or needs an operation, and the government's not going to cover it on the NHS, and you could take this cartel or this Shell's money or the big tobacco companies or the pharmaceuticals, and it's for nothing, and you don't have to use their logos, just take it and do the good.
Yeah.
Because that child's going to be like, listen, I just want to eat. I just don't want to die.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you see what I mean?
That's it.
In that respect of things, yeah.
Especially in like I was talking to my friend earlier today. He was just talking about how a lot of England is really depraved. Like a lot of the very lower class people in England are very, very depraved. Like we don't see it so much in London, but outside of London, in so much places like Manchester, places like Liverpool.
Yeah, that's why you get so many people come to London. Yeah. London produces 70% of the United Kingdom's economy. Yeah. If you think about that, 70%. That means 30%, so 10 million people, or however you want to see it, 10 million, 15 million, produce out of 67 million the majority of the wealth. So that other percentage of producing 30%, you have to look at what they're doing. That means some towns are only there because of London supporting them. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, but then also, London's ethics of making money is very. You ever watch Game of Thrones? Yeah. It's like the Lannisters. Yeah. There's nothing to be too proud of after that, It's the way they're Lannisters, right? Apart from the inbred thing, but I suppose the royals are the inbred. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure the wildlings up north would want want to continue that help. Yeah, and stuff. I better stop that while I'm ahead. Yeah. So you were saying about photography and artists. What kind of drawings do you do? What kind of photos do you take?
Drawings are more sort of like I'd say they're quite surreal. Like I quite like surrealism, which is just like I wouldn't know how to describe it. I'm quite bad at describing things, but do you know who Salvador Dali is?
Yep.
Yeah, you must. I like art that doesn't look like real, if that makes sense. I kind of like it to look very abstract, and you kind of have to look at it and just try and like pick it apart and have your own like interpretation of it, and that's what I don't really have lots of meanings behind all of my artwork. I just kind of want people to look at it and think, what, like just have a thought about it. Like that's just the how do I put it?
I kind of
you get me. Like trying to I want people to look at it and have and wonder what
the creative thing.
What was the process behind it? What does it mean? Even sometimes I create work and art with intention behind it, but then I've forgotten it by the time I finished. So
I suppose you're going on your emotions, your feelings at the time.
Yeah.
I have a friend, she's another podcaster, Wonder and Wellbeing is her podcast, and she's a teacher, and she paints. And what she does when she paints, you can look at that picture at 3 different angles, like on the 90 degrees, 180, or what have you, and you can see a different picture, but it's all in one. And I thought I like that.
Yeah.
In that respect, I'm not an artist at all. There's not an artistic bone in my body really, but I can appreciate that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the ones where people flick a paintbrush on a piece of paper and then say, "Look at that," I'm like, no, mate.
It's not interesting.
No, it's just not that. I just don't get it. Because that's.
But I think that is the kind of the point of art, really. It's kind of to have people. I think maybe some artists want people to have that reaction. It's like, what is that? Like, what is the point of that? Like,
yeah, but you just like. It's not even like, what is that? And I'm going to contemplate it.
It's just like, what is that?
Look, listen, we've just paid for something that was a load of, doesn't help anybody. See, like there's a sculpture there. That's art. It's the sister holding the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's art. A picture of the houses and people going about there, that's art.
But it's all subjective, I think.
Yeah, but then you're suppose. Some people may say that you look at it from what the mass of the people would say, because especially when you put art, not in relation to your art, but when you see art in the street, sculptures and things, it's like, does that community really see that as art, or would they rather have something else that is more significant to what they know or understand? Do you understand? So for those who go to those big, what do you call those, art galleries, special art or art functions, and you know you're going to get a certain kind of art, that's a niche.
Yeah.
But with the other things, it's just like, it's no niche. It's, do you see what I mean? When you start to, it's like, okay.
I really think that's just like an individual's interpretation.
Go on.
And I think it's like, I really do value your opinion, and I think I also agree with you. Not all art can be classed as good art, and I think that's probably a problem with our art today. Is modern art is that people can put a trash bag in the middle of a room and call it art.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And really, the cleaner just didn't do his job.
Yeah.
They paid a lot of money. So when you got the lottery fund or the government said we need to pay for all the artistic places to help them, it's like, really? No. This is a curdling of the herd. Let the crap ones drop, and the ones that people are really interested in, that will carry on naturally. You don't save everything, in that respect. But like I said, some people would say, other people say, yeah, save everything, it's nice, and all that thing. So you take photographs as well?
Yeah.
So what kind of photos do you do?
I kind of, to be honest, I don't take photos as often as I'd like to, but I mostly just take photos on the street, just like out and about.
What, you're snapping people?
Yeah, snapping people.
Really?
Snapping
So you got a long lens then? Your zoom lens? You're not just walking up to people and going...
No, I actually just use my phone at the moment. I do have a camera, which I haven't used in a long time, like in about a year. But if I'm just going about, I'll just take it on my phone, because iPhones are so good for photographs, and smartphones are so good for.
Did you get one of those adaptable lenses that you put on your lens?
Yeah, I have some. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Miss Gadget. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's been a very interesting interview. My last question is, what's the impact you want to have on the world?
Impact. I think I just want to. I know it's so corny, and I'm sure there's no answer to this that's not corny. But I think I just really want to make people happy. I want someone to like leave me for like if I've spent time with them and they leave, I want them to feel happy and positive, like and not necessarily, not even inspired, but just happy and positive within themselves and really calm.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Okay, well, thanks a lot for that. Much appreciated. We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.